How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the many interpretations of the series where I will literally cover any prehistoric animal. It doesn't matter how long the video is, I will cover it. Today's animal that we are focusing on is Alamosaurus. Alamosaurus is probably my favorite sauropod dinosaur. It's incredibly underrated, incredibly awesome, and it's actually shown up probably a few more places than many of you might think. So why is Alamosaurus so cool to me? Well, basically because of how, I guess, unique it is. It is the only confirmed sauropod to live in North America at the very end of the Cretaceous period. That's very notable. This is the only potential sauropod that could have interacted with Tyrannosaurus rex that we know of. We might find other fossils, but as of right now, that's what we know. And it's not known from too much overall skeletal material, but it is known for having like osteoderms and things like that. It is related to titanosaurs and other such dinosaurs, so it likely had a very massive build. And again, I just think it's underrated. So we will go ahead and look at the interpretations of it in media, and yeah, let's just get right into it. So the first ever interpretation that we have is from the very first Jurassic Park film. This right here, this guy, this is actually Alamosaurus, not a Brachiosaurus. No, I'm kidding. That's actually Giraffe Titan. But Alamosaurus does show up as a skeleton in the visitor center, at least according to the sources. And it does make sense because a Tyrannosaurus rex is attacking it, the skeleton, and as I mentioned before, Alamosaurus was the only sauropod that we know of to live in North America at the time. Now, skeletally, I don't think it matches up too well. I do think that the vertebrae are off, but we don't see it too much, and it's really a cool addition regardless, because this is potentially the only sauropod that T-Rex would have ever hunted. Well, I say hunted, but to what extent, we don't know. Was T-Rex actively trying to hunt Alamosaurus? Probably not a full-grown one, but maybe a younger one, sure. And, I mean, this looks like this would be a younger one because of how small it is compared to the T-Rex, so that's cool. But we will stick in the Jurassic franchise for a minute and move on to Jurassic World Evolution 2, where in the DLC we do get Alamosaurus, and it's a design. It's a design. It's not my favorite design, especially with how much it clashes with the other sauropods in the games. Its head just seems a little bit too large for the type of sauropod that it is. I mean, to clarify, we haven't actually found Alamosaurus' skull, but chances are it wouldn't have been too big like this bobblehead. But the posture doesn't seem bad, and the neck is a little bit thick. The thing that really throws me off the most are those spikes that they put on top of its head. That really makes it look like an alien. I mean, maybe it had spikes, but really the only thing we're certain on are the osteoderms, which fortunately are included on the animal's design. But really, just as a personal preference, it's not my favorite. Not my favorite addition to the game. For the most part, I think that Frontier does a great job at the dinosaur designs, their original dinosaur designs in the game. But I'm not really a fan of the Alamosaurus. Next up, we will move on to the Magic School Bus. Very good on Magic School Bus to have an obscure dinosaur in their show. So it has this really cool striking blue color with some counter shading going on. From what I can tell, from my poor eyesight, is that it might have osteoderms. So huge plus right there. They are kind of situated kind of like an ankylosaur on its back. I mean, here's the thing, like with the osteoderms, we know that they had osteoderms, we just don't know the exact placement of the osteoderms. So the way that they look in many of these versions are going to vary, which is fine, because in that situation, technically nothing's incorrect. So, but it's cool. I just think it's really cool that it's included in this. I really like the blue that it has. And yeah, no, I'm awesome. Now, The Land Before Time. In one of the later movies or shows, there is a character known as Sauro. Like sauropod, get it? Now, I've heard a few Land Before Time fans say that this is an Alamosaurus. I mean, they're trying to pinpoint it as an Alamosaurus. There are several different sauropods that show up in the Land Before Time franchise, so it wouldn't really surprise me if one did show up. However, I don't think the Sauro is one of them. He just kind of looks like a slightly modified Apatosaurus. Like, he looks very similar to Littlefoot's grandparents, just with slight tweaks to help him stand out from them. So I just included him just for safety. I mean, on the Land Before Time wiki, it never calls him an Alamosaurus. But again, I know that some fans want him to be an Alamosaurus. So I figured I would include him just to be on the safe side. But I do just think he's another Apatosaurus. Then we have First Apocalypse, released in 2009. Some quick shots of Alamosaurus as they are going extinct, during the the extinction of the dinosaurs, or non-avian dinosaurs, I should say. That does check out, because of course, like I said, they did exist at the very end of the Cretaceous period, so they would have experienced that mass extinction. Much like the Jurassic World Evolution 2 design, I'm not too big of a fan of these spikes on their head, and they are very shrink-wrapped too. Alamosaurus was likely decently bulky for its overall build, but the head I think looks really cool, and I am digging the colors too. I think that they're very cool and easy to look at color, if that makes sense. Then moving on, we have the last day of the dinosaurs, yet another extinction one. And this is, it doesn't really match up to Alamosaurus. They reused a model of Sauroposeidon, if I'm not mistaken. So really this likely wouldn't match up at all, especially with that skull. That skull is likely not what Alamosaurus' skull looks like. It also doesn't seem to... Oh, no, it does. Oh, I see little osteoderms. Checks out. But it just has a singular color going all the way through, and, I don't think this is really a standout one. Then we have Dinosaur Train. Very cool that they featured Alamosaurus too. Very interesting yellow coloration with some blue going down the middle of its back. I like it, and I like its overall build. It doesn't appear to have osteoderms, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I do think the head looks pretty good, and the overall build I think is pretty good. So I think that one was decently a success. Back at it again with Dinosauria with Dead Sound. Now the final episode in the series does focus on primarily the Hell Creek Formation. Alamosaurus did not live in the Hell Creek Formation, but he does get to feature Alamosaurus by showing a few shots down south, where Alamosaurus did live. Basically, they kind of cut in between those two different locations to showcase the extinction on a little bit more of a wider scale. And the design looks really good. I'm really a fan of the whole way that it looks. I like how thick the neck is. I think the head looks really good. I like the forelimbs and the hind limbs, and I love the osteoderms on the back. Now, little thing about me. I love when the osteoderms on these type of sauropods are placed like this. I think it was Prehistoric Kingdom that portrayed the Argentinosaurus like that, and I'm just a huge fan of that. So I love seeing it on Alamosaurus right here. That just feels awesome to me. And yeah, no complaints on this one. This one looks really solid and might be my favorite one on this list so far. Then after that, we have Prehistoric Planet 2. Prehistoric Planet 2. We get a herd of Alamosaurus, and we get to see an older one too. It's really cool that they were featured in such a heavy way in a more modern piece of media too. And of course, it's very sad to see as well. But their designs, I think, look really good too. The head looks pretty plausible. The neck is pretty thick. They're huge animals, of course. I think the limbs look pretty good, and they have the very famous osteoderms. So this one's definitely a success, and it's really cool that we get to see the T-Rex interact with it, even if it was just interacting with an unfortunate one that passed on. But, really cool to kind of feature something like that, because, I don't know, it's just cool that T-Rex did potentially interact with a sauropod. I mean, one of my favorite pieces that Mark Winton has done is this one right here, where it's like an Alamosaurus chasing off a younger T-Rex. I just love it, because that feels correct. It feels right. And then shortly after that, we get another appearance from Alamosaurus from Life on Our Planet. Now, this one does seem decently shrink-wrapped compared to some of the other ones. I do like the colors. I think the head looks pretty good, and the color on the head looks awesome, and I like these stripes that are on the animal's back. But again, it's shrink-wrapped, and doesn't appear to me that it has any osteoderms. It kind of looks pretty similar to the Diplodocus in this show, just with a little bit of a tweaked model and different posturing and things like that. So I don't, this isn't really the best of the modern ones that we've seen, but still really cool that it was featured regardless. And then I figured I might as well throw this one in here because this has been on my wish list for the longest time. It's the PNSO Alamosaurus that looks awesome. Love the forelimbs. The colors look awesome. The neck is really thick. The head looks cool. Those osteoderms are kind of spiked in the back, like I mentioned, that I think is really cool. This is a figure that I hope to see on my shelf one day. I only recently started to get from PNSO with the Spinosaurus figure up there. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see where I'm pointing. The Spinosaurus figure up there. I talk about it in this video. Check that out, And subscribe too, We're all friends here. And with that, that closes out the Alamosaurus. Not too much in the grand scheme of things, but that is completely fine. Doesn't just because there's not a lot of a certain animal doesn't mean that we shouldn't feature it. You know, these don't always need to be like half-hour long videos or 20-minute long videos. Sometimes they could just be a quick little 13-minute long video, and that's completely fine. Because Alamosaurus does deserve the attention, and I do hope that it does get some more attention as we go on. I mean, with the past few, like the last ones on this list, it's looking pretty good. Dinosauria, Prehistoric Planet, Life on Our Planet, they're starting to show Alamosaurus a little bit more. And it's just one that I think should get shown a little bit more. I mean, it's potentially the last sauropod from North America. That's insane. That's just, that there's a lot of good potential with that. There's a lot of cool things you can see. I refer you to that Mark Winton image again. Imagine what you could do with that. Regardless, it was really cool to see the interpretations that we do have. I'm happy that there are as many as there are, because I was kind of worried a little bit there that we wouldn't get too many. But the ones that we have, I think, were really, really awesome. So anyway, the poll will be going up probably tomorrow. I'm recording this video before I get my wisdom teeth extracted. This will upload. It will go public after I've gotten my wisdom teeth extracted, and I have no idea how long I'm going to be down for the count. So hopefully I'll be fine enough to record some videos. I've been recording as many as I possibly can to try to get them out while I'm trying to recover. But we'll see. I might make a community post about it to kind of update everybody on the whole situation. But for now, I plan on a poll tomorrow, and it'll be the 4 most requested animals once again. Anyway, that is pretty much all I have for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have an awesome day.